What's going on, True Blazer fans? It's Tori here with a Game 4 recap. This is coming out a little bit later than I wanted it to, but I spent a ton of time putting together these clips for you guys, so you know it's going to be quality like always. I'm gonna try and keep this video a little bit shorter than past recaps. Let me know how long you guys want these videos. I've been doing 12 to 14 minutes, but I don't really know what you would prefer, so let me know down in the comment section below. And with that, let's jump into this Game 4 recap. These first two plays tie into each other. On the first one, watch how Kanter short rolls, Lillard hits him, and they help onto him off of Aminu. Kanter makes the right pass, Aminu hits the three. Before the next play, let's rewind to the video I made before this series where I looked at the Pelicans series last year and how we were having trouble getting into the passing window when teams were trapping the pick and roll, as Nurkic overran it here and it ended up being a turnover. Now look at this play. Kanter parks himself perfectly in the passing window and Lillard can easily make this pass to him. This time, however, they don't help onto Kanter and he makes them pay with the mid-range jumper. This just shows how you can usually get a good shot if a team is going to extend its pick and roll coverage on defense. After Paul George hits a three, Kanter ends up playing very solid defense in the paint. This definitely was not a foul, but Billy Donovan sure thought so. He ended up getting teed up only 2.5 minutes into the game. In my Game 2 recap, I talked about how Portland needs to be splitting staggered screens on defense instead of completely trailing the play. Here's another example of why trailing the play is bad defensively, as Paul George gets a very easy mid-range look. And OKC started off very hot from the field. Russell Westbrook hitting a rare three-point shot, Paul George with a very good spin move and finish inside the lane, Steven Adams finishing off a drop-off pass, and then Russell Westbrook hitting another jumper, and this looked a lot like Game 3 early on, and Portland was quickly down 5. Russell Westbrook got prematurely hyped, but that's what he does. Portland was able to keep pace. A common theme during these recaps have been me being a fan of us turning defense into transition buckets. Here's another example. And then a side note I have yet to make, this is a pretty automatic shot for Steven Adams. And more defense turned into transition offense. Al-Farouq Aminu with a great finish, and he was terrific in this game, and we'll talk about him more later. And then Portland's big men off the bench had a very solid first quarter. Myers Leonard with a tough finish inside, and then Zach Collins getting this hook shot to fall. And then it was nice to see Collins hit this three with the shot clock winding down. I feel like he's better with the clock winding down because he doesn't really think about his three-point shot. He shoots it with a little bit more confidence, and he hits at a higher rate because of it. If he's able to develop this level of confidence on every three-point shot, he'll be a very solid shooter throughout his NBA career. And then this bum had a legendary start by his own standards. Raymond Felton hits the three, then he hits a pull-up jumper, and apparently he was celebrating at Dunkin' Donuts after the game because he finished with 8 points. And then I really enjoyed this play, Dame hitting Zach Collins on the short roll, who makes a great quick decision to drop a bounce pass to Mo underneath the rim for a dunk. And then on this play, I want Zach to try and attack the rim and score over people instead of trying to do whatever this is. Here we have Adams running the floor to put OKC up 3, and this has been a pretty tight game so far. Now I want you guys to be able to see how thin this passing window was for Dame to throw this pass. I was impressed that he was even able to get this ball out to Mo Harkless, who rewarded him with an assist by hitting the three. And then this is one of those Dame drives where he misses, but it's almost as good as an assist due to how much defensive attention he draws. And as Kanter gets the putback, and Portland is hanging tough. And then while I think our offense is better equipped to deal with the defenses that teams throw us in playoffs, OKC has had some very bad defensive possessions like they have right here. At this point, Portland was down 2, but then Russell Westbrook started to overachieve with his jump shot, hitting that mid-range shot there, and then hitting his second three of the game. And don't you find it funny how excited Westbrook gets after hitting a jump shot? I mean, I can't blame him. The dude rarely hits them. Anyway, Portland looked to be in a little bit of trouble here as OKC has pushed their lead to 7, but CJ McCollum answers with a very tough contested 3. This was Dame's first field goal of the half, and despite that, Portland was still only down 2. This got Dame going a little bit as he pivoted into this three-pointer in a way that I haven't really seen him do before. He still ends up hitting it, and Portland is able to retake the lead. Now, Portland has been running a two-guard front a lot more during this year's playoffs than they have in the past. fast, and they ran it a lot, especially in Game 4. A two-guard front is when you have two guards near half court, and the guard without the ball provides an easy outlet pass, and it also provides more spacing for passes to the corners. Combine that with Dame rejecting the screen, and all this space draws Al-Farouq Aminu's defender, leaving Chief with a wide open three-point attempt to put Portland up 4 going into the halftime break. The second half starts off with CJ getting to his floater. This next play is out of a rough two-guard front. Damian Lillard's spacing makes the skip pass from CJ to Aminu available. Last year, a lot of times Blazers would be in this position right here, more free throw line extended instead of further up court where Dame is in this play. That didn't provide Portland enough space in that series, and it's part of the reason why they struggled, and this two-guard front is part of the reason why they're having more success in this year's playoffs. On defense, with Lillard on Paul George, this is basically a wide open jump shot for PG. With Portland up 7, the team started trading three-pointers, Ferguson for 3 here, then Dame gets his cleanest look of the game and he knocks it down, and then Jeremy Grant hits a 3 from the corner. Overall, this type of basketball favors Portland, who is by far the better shooting team. And then this was one of the quickest drives by Harkless I've ever seen, even though he didn't get off the ground on the layup. And then Dame got cooking in this third quarter, much like he has all season and much like he did in Game 3, hitting another 30-foot bomb. Damian Lillard is 12 for 17 on three-point attempts from 27 feet or longer. That is insane. And then Steven Adams was struggling to get up high enough on these pick and rolls, and this left Dame wide open for another 3. Steven Adams didn't play in the fourth quarter, due primarily to defensive possessions like these. With Portland starting to pick up a rhythm offensively, its defense picked up as well. The initial pass deflection led to Dame deflecting it around Westbrook to himself for a fast break dunk, and Portland all of a sudden was up by 14. And then Harkless has a defensive play or two every game where he just falls asleep like he does here. You cannot just assume that pass is going to go out of bounds, and Paul George gets a wide open 3. But don't let that detract from the fact that Mo has played very good defense in the series, and I'll talk about that more later. And right now, as I'm watching this film, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder decided to switch Jeremy Grant onto Enes Kanter and switch Steven Adams off of him. And I think that they did this because Steven Adams was getting abused in the pick and roll, and Enes Kanter was setting most of the screens. However, Portland just decided to use Enes Kanter in the low post against Jeremy Grant. The Thunder knew this was a mismatch, so they sent help, and this left Aminu wide open for 3. This was a great pass by Kanter, and Aminu, who was on fire all game, knocked it down. That was a strange adjustment by the Thunder that did not work. Here, Rodney Hood got to his favorite mid-range pull-up, and I'm still really hoping this dude has a breakout game coming soon, because he could be a huge X factor for us coming off the bench. Dame continues his high-scoring third quarter with a very tough hanging mid-range pull-up. He had 15 in the third. And then Portland finally took my advice and started going under on Schroeder pick and rolls. Here he didn't want to shoot the 3, and then CJ got held by Steven Adams, but this is still a much deeper mid-range attempt than he was getting all series long when we were going over screens. It also didn't give him the opportunity to get deep into the paint and break down our defense to create good shots for other teammates. After the Blazers had built a 19-point lead, OKC was able to cut it to 11 before the end of the quarter with this insane Paul George step back 3. At the start of the fourth, Collins ends up faking a pass and Euro-stepping himself into a charge. He just needs to throw a pass. He saw the pass that was there, for some reason just faked it. With the lead cut to 9, CJ McCollum answers yet another Thunder run by hitting yet another contested 3. And then he sends Raymond Felton halfway to his own bench with a nasty crossover into a pull-up 3. Felton should have just kept on running towards that bench. Earlier in this video, I said Zach Collins just needs to try and go over people and attack the rim strong on this type of play, and here he does so, and he was able to get himself to the free throw line after a nasty foul. And then here we have Aminu playing with heart, playing with hustle, battling underneath to get a reverse layup to go, and bringing Portland's lead back up to 18 points, and really setting a tone for the rest of this game that Portland wasn't going to roll over, they were going to take care of this thing. Here, Zach Collins does a very good job of breaking pressure and then trailing the play to get the putback dunk. Deja vu with Paul George hitting this jumper over a guard. And the Thunder kept fighting. Here, Jeremy Grant with another corner 3. But the Blazers continued their stellar defense in the second half, CJ McCollum with a great defensive play, and then considering time and score, this is not a good shot by CJ. It's the type of shot that if you're going to take it, you better make it. But he does, and the Blazers go up by 16 once again and put this game to rest. The Thunder did hit 3 straight threes to cut the Blazers' lead to single digits. The lead ended up being 7 with about a minute and a half left, but Portland was never in any real danger of dropping this one, and they pulled out a huge Game 4 win to go up 3-1 and take control of this series going back to Portland for Game 5, and in doing so, they have pushed the Oklahoma City Thunder to the brink of elimination. Now, I just want to highlight some of Portland's defensive plays they've made in this game that I haven't already shown you, because their defense has been the most surprising part of their play during this series. With CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard as a backcourt and Enes Kanter as their starting center, many experts, and myself included, expected Portland to really struggle to stop Oklahoma City. But all three of those guys have really stepped up defensively. Not only that, but Portland's good defenders have taken it up another notch. Here's an example of that with Zach Collins making a great block on Russell Westbrook. Another example, Mo has a very nifty steal against Jeremy Grant. That was great hands by Harkless, and he has shown this all series long. And then Enes Kanter has had some very good defensive plays. This block was huge. But not only blocks, Enes Kanter has done a very good job of going vertical and making shots difficult around the rim, and his defense has been a pleasant surprise. And then here we have our forwards, our normal suspects, Mo blocking the dunk attempt, and then Aminu hustling to create a turnover. And then more Aminu with a huge rejection, and then out hustling the Thunder for the loose ball. Aminu was great on both ends with defensive gems like this one, as well as 19 points with some very good three-point shooting. And as I said, even CJ has stepped up, and Dame has as well, as this is definitely a charge even though they called it a block. Dame beat Paul George to the spot, but the refs were seriously screwing over the Blazers late in this game. All in all, this was a huge win for the Blazers, and now they're able to come home and try and close out the Oklahoma City Thunder in 5 games. They've done a good job at establishing strategies against a trapping pick and roll defense. And compared to last year's playoffs, the Blazers have improved mightily when it comes to simply making the right play. Whether it be the right pass, taking the right shot, attacking at the right time, they have improved and impressed me. Let's hope Portland can get it done in 5, because I would love to be able to sit back and take a little bit of a break and make something other than game recaps, because I've been seriously working hard to get these out for you after every game, so I hope you guys have been enjoying them. If the Blazers win tonight, they may have 5, 6, maybe even 7 days off before the start of their next series. So anyway, that's all for this game recap. I hope you true Blazer fans enjoyed, and with that, I'll see you next time. This has been Tori. Peace out. Go Blazers.